Chapter 13. Misty woke to Gorte shaking her. As she rose, she saw the others waking from their sleep. Gorte held out a hand to lift her up. Everyone stood in a circle on the boat. "I have terrible news," Gorte began. "Once we reached the docks, I received a message that King Andermus Pureheart is launching a full-scale assault on the orcs and their allies. And Ludin approved of the attack." "What? That's terrible!" Lyanna shouted. "Why are they doing this?" "This is all Makora's plan. Zarmanoth feeds on hatred. With the orcs and humans fighting a full-scale war while she is summoning Zarmanoth, will allow him to be summoned faster, meaning we have little time to tread on foot to save Valesra. I have scouted the Isles of Korhal. Valesra is being held in the stronghold of the Scarlet Rose, which is the third island from this one, meaning straight east you will find it. However," Gorte glanced at Valruk and Marvin, "I will be taking Marvin and Valruk with me. We need to try to convince the king of the Divine Confederation to stop his attack before he feeds Zarmanoth this power. We will try to hurry, but please do not hesitate to take down Makora." "How will we get across if we can't walk?" Viviana asked. "My griffins," Marvin said. "Be swift, but know this. There will be a lot of cultists and witches at this stronghold. It won't be easy, but you must push forward if you want to save Valesra. Gorte, let me come with you. If they see an angel with, maybe the king will stop his attack." Gorte nodded. "That leaves Misty, Viviana, Lloyd, Kalik, and Lyanna. Follow the path south. Do not fly across. If anyone sees you, they will alert Makora, and our plans will be ruined. I believe in you all. Please stop Makora and save Valesra." Marvin whistled for his griffins. Gorte slammed his fist to the ground. A circle appeared around the four. It turned blue, and one by one they disappeared into the air. The griffins landed. The five mounted up and flew south just like Gorte recommended. "Half of our forces are gone," Kalik said, breaking the silence. Do you think we can save the ancient protector and stop Makora?" "We are going to succeed. But be on your guard, and kill anyone who wants to kill you," replied Misty. Hours went by before they reached the second island. It was a beautiful sight, with trees covering all the land. Kalik pointed to a well in the middle of the four islands. "What is that?" she questioned. "It must be the mana well Meldrin mentioned. That is what Makora is going for." With their vision, they could see the stronghold on the next island. It looked to be its own kingdom. A massive structure stood in the back of the stronghold. Tall pillars erected to the sky. The griffins flew faster and dove down into the forest as they reached the third island. As the forest ended, the stronghold appeared. "Man, this is going to be annoying," Lloyd whispered. "Then eat and rest. We are leaving in 20 minutes. They dismounted off the griffins. The air was warm and breezy. The outlook of the waters and the big open areas was an ideal spot for a stronghold, Misty thought. Misty sat snacking on the grapes she bought. Lloyd and Viviana did the same. Kalik scarfed down her apple. She pulled out her arrow equipment and began the process of carving arrows from the bones of the boar and elk she hunted. Lyanna sat quietly, staring at the ground as if she was about to cry. Misty happened to glance at her when her gaze lifted. "Are you okay, Lyanna?" She nodded. "Yeah, sorry. I was away from Lexion for so long that I thought he'd never disappear again. But now he's gone." "He'll be back," Misty reassured. "He's a strong angel. You'll see him again." A smile washed over her face. "Thank you." Misty held out a piece of beef jerky. "Care to take one?" Lyanna grabbed it to examine. Dried meat. Everyone stared at her as she tried to bite it. She couldn't bring herself to eat it. Something wrong? Lloyd asked. Well, you see, I'm not used to this food. Usually we angels have dinner. We always have ham and turkey and fish and steak. She rambled on as her mouth drooled. You eat like kings and queens, Lloyd said. She nodded. I mean, if you want to put it that way, then yes. Liana put the jerky in her pouch for later. Are we ready to leave? Lloyd nodded along with Viviana, Kalik, and Liana. Misty stood grabbing hold of Kalik's hand to help her up. The gates to the city were closed and no guards stood watch. Misty ran to the wall and made sure no one could see her. The others did the same. She peeked through the gate to see no one in the city, but she saw a lot of shops that surrounded the area. The doors were open, but Misty couldn't hear any talking. Anyone have a plan? Misty asked. Right now there seems to be no one here. Lloyd thought for a moment. Is the gate locked? Misty shrugged. I haven't tried it. Misty pushed on the gate, only to find it was locked. Yes, it is. Liana, can you lift me across the wall? I can lockpick the lock and open it from the inside. Too risky, Viviana stated. We don't want either of you to be caught. I have an idea. Viviana knelt down and placed her hand upon the ground. She closed her eyes to concentrate. A vine ripped through the ground. It inched its way to the door and wrapped itself around the bars that made up the gate. Viviana controlled the vine to make it loop within the lock. A click was heard, and the vine retracted with the lock in hand. Nice work. Let's go. Misty pulled the gate open and let everyone slip inside before she closed it. The buildings were small, wooden shops. They went to the nearest one and hid behind its walls. Misty peeked inside. No one was there. Empty, she whispered. They slipped inside to examine what kind of place it was. It was filled with books and old tomes. A bell tolled that echoed through the city. The sound of marching filled the streets. Misty peeked outside to see cultists marching to the giant building near the back of the city. Misty had a feeling Valesra was there as well. So how do you want to do this? Stealth or attack? Lloyd laughed. We kill them all. Stealth will make it harder to pursue once we are inside. Khalid grinned. I agree. Let's take out as many as we can. Misty nodded. Ready? On the count of 3, we will begin our attack. Lloyd readied his swords. Viviana grabbed her staff. 3, 2. Kalik knocked an arrow, and Liana's hands glowed with holy light. 1. Go! They jumped out of the shop and bombarded the group of cultists close to them. Lloyd ran ahead, slashing his blade left and right, watching the bodies of the cultists fall to the ground. Viviana aided him with vines that ripped through the dirt and coiled around the nearest cultists to stop their movement. Kalik fired her arrow, which seared past Lloyd and hit the cultists behind him through the head. She knocked another arrow. Farinar Binare. Kalik's arrow burned red. She aimed at the group of cultists that turned around to help out their brethren. Kalik fired, watching the arrow fly through the air. It zigzagged, piercing through several cultists' hearts. A grin washed over her face. Misty charged in with daggers flaming. She blocked the cultist's sword that swung down at her. She drove her blades into their chests, pushing their dead bodies away. She went forward and spun around, sending firebolts in every direction. Lloyd swiped his blades, mowing down more cultists. A dagger came down at Lloyd, which sliced his arm. He clenched his hand on his arm. Lloyd, are you okay? Liana flew at him. The holy energy swirled in her hands. The light wrapped around his arm and seeped through, closing the wound. Liana dodged one of the cultists that swung their blade. She flew in the air and put her hands together as if she was praying. Her body glowed with holy magic. She shot her hand forward. Holy lance! She shouted. Beneath the cultist's feet a square appeared. Lances rained, piercing the cultists. A circle appeared within the square, raining down more lances. A triangle emerged that exploded with holy energy. Bodies of the cultists ran down with their blood, showering everyone. Damn, there is still more of them, Lloyd shouted. Don't give in. We can break their lines, Misty assured. Kalik glanced at Viviana. I have an idea. Cover me. Kalik dashed forward, somersaulting over cultists who tried to gut her down. She jumped on a pile of dead bodies that pushed her to the roof of a small shop. Viviana let the vines entangle around the cultists that tried to reach her. Reaching into her small pouch, she took out a blue crystal. Kalik crushed it in her hand, turning it into dust. She rubbed it on the arrowhead. Misty, throw me a mana potion, she shouted. Misty reached for her belt and threw the potion to Kalik. All ingredients become a mix as it flipped through the air. Kalik caught the potion and drank it in an instant. She knocked an arrow and fired the arrow in the sky. Kirinore Annabelle. Arrows rained down from the sky in balls of energy. As each one hit the ground, it exploded, clearing a path deeper into the city. Kalik jumped off of the roof, and in unison they ran, handling any cultists that were ready to strike. The path was clear for them, a straight shot to the tall building. Lloyd pushed open the door, letting everyone enter before slamming it shut. And that is the end of the chapter. So, what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say. Well, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. We are definitely nearing the end of the story. So, thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. And remember to be the best you can be. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye!